Okay, come and get a little sit down on your mat and we shall begin shortly. So this is a yoga flow class this morning. You can do it anytime. This is a recording. We're going to start off just in a seated, comfortable position. You don't have to be sitting cross-legged. You don't need to adopt any particular position with your legs, but we do want to see that your spine is properly in alignment. If you struggle to get your spine in alignment, using a block or a folded blanket underneath your hips is usually enough just to make yourself a little bit more comfortable. And then just take the hands onto the knees or thighs and close your eyes just for a few deep, slow, steady breaths. As you inhale, feel the passage of air from the nostrils down through the windpipe, all the way down into your navel. Feeling the muscles that you use for breathing, lifting your belly and your rib cage outwards and upwards. And then as you exhale, just a deep sigh, releasing through the mouth to begin with. Inhale through the nose. And exhale through your mouth. Just 2 more breaths. And now as you exhale, try to exhale through your nose, making the same sort of ha sound in the back of the throat. Keeping the eyes closed, keeping the mouth closed. One more nice deep inhale into the belly, the rib cage. Exhale, making that ha sound in the back of the throat as you exhale through the nostrils, building up heat in the core of the body. Let's open our eyes and synchronize the breathing with the movement. So let's inhale and begin to stretch our arms. Let the inhale lift your arms upward over your head and your eyes look upwards to your thumbs. And then as you exhale, trace the center line of your body, bring your thumbs to your heart center. Inhale, stretching and reaching upwards, lifting the head, lifting the heart, not crunching the neck. And then as you exhale, bring the thumbs to touch your sternum, heart center. Let's do 2 more. Really feel the breath is lifting you up on the inhale. And then exhale, bring the thumbs to the heart center. Let's do 1 more. Inhale, we stretch up, lift the arms, lift the chest, lift the gaze. Palms meet here overhead. And as you exhale, take the thumbs to your heart center. Let's take our right hand now, place the right hand on the floor. And as you inhale, stretching up the left arm. Stretch your left arm as high as you can to the sky while keeping your left buttock on the floor. Then we start to side bend our body over towards the right side, making sure the buttock doesn't leave the mat. You can stay on the fingertips, you can be on the palm, or you can even come down onto your elbow, your forearm, or your wrist. Try to encourage the butt cheeks to root down, and we look for foundation through the sitting bones. And then try to turn your gaze so that you're looking up beyond your armpit towards the sky. Elongate your fingertips, reaching and stretching so you get a nice deep stretch through the side of the body. And then as we inhale, we will switch. Take the left hand to the floor, elongate and stretch your right hand up overhead. Try to push down through the right buttock, lengthen through the fingertips, all the way through the side of the body, and then start to lean yourself over, stretching yourself over, keeping the hips firmly rooted down so you get a nice stretch through the whole sideline of your body. Nice deep inhale. As you exhale, try to turn your chest a little bit more, looking up now towards the sky, towards the ceiling above you. Keep reaching and stretching from fingertips all the way down to the hip. And as you inhale, reach and rise, taking both arms up over your head, looking here to your thumbs. And then as you exhale, start to hinge forward, bring the fingertips to the floor. So again, you don't have to have the legs crossed. You can get fingertips on the floor, and this might be as far as you want to come. You may be able to get the palms down and slide your hands and bring your head a little closer to the mat. And just noticing sensations in your body. If your back is uncomfortable here, back off a little bit. If your neck is uncomfortable, don't drop your head. Instead, keep your neck in alignment with the rest of your spine. Just allowing little spider fingers to creep forward. Inhaling And exhaling. And then gently taking the hands over towards the right side. Reaching to the right side with both arms. Make a nice deep stretching through the side of the body and the lower back. And then gently taking the hands over in the direction of the left side, reaching the fingertips, pressing down through your hips. A nice deep inhale. A nice steady exhale. And then slowly return to center and gently uncurl your spine all the way back up to seated. And then from seated, we're going to come round and into a tabletop position. So this is tabletop spine, 4-point kneeling. When you do any sort of balancing positions with your hands, it's really good idea to spread the fingers out to make a wider base for balance and support, to push down through the fingertips and through the roots of the fingers, push down through the heels of the hand, lift your chest, lengthen your neck. Try to engage your deep core stabilization muscles by pulling the belly button in towards the spine, keeping the whole body nice and still. As we inhale, we're going to stretch out to make a 2-point balance pose. When you come into 2-point balance, you're trying to reach and elongate the fingertips. I'd like you to flex the foot on the back leg and try to lift the heel a little bit higher to switch on the buttock. And then without crunching into the back of your neck, just lift your chest a little bit higher as you reach. And then exhale, gently coming back into tabletop, repositioning the hands, repositioning the knees, ready for the other side. Inhale, lengthen out to 2-point balance. Remember, balance the weight evenly over the 2 points. Elongate your neck, elongate your leg, reach through the fingertips. Then flex the foot, push the heel to the sky, activate the buttocks. Lift your chest without crunching into your neck to mobilize the chest and the thoracic spine. One more breath here. And then gently back into tabletop pose. Wrists below shoulders, knees below hips. Cat-cow flow, so it's forward folding and backward bending. As you inhale, lift the chin, lift the chest, press the chest forward. So the action is the chest bone moves towards the top of the mat. It puts you back into that extension or backward bend. Stay here for a few breaths, trying to work on lifting your chest forward and upward while pressing firmly into your hands. And then as you exhale, tuck in the tailbone, start to flex your way into your cat stretch. When you reach the top of that cat stretch, you're pressing through the hands, you're pulling in through the belly, stretching out your back. As we inhale, lift the head, lift the heart, press the chest forward, open through the front side of the body. And then as you exhale, tucking under the tailbone as you flex and curl and arch into cat stretch. Inhale, coming back into your tabletop position, and then tucking your toes. Tuck your toes underneath, lift your knees off, inhale. And then as you exhale, push the hips up and back into down dog. So your downward facing dog pose or upside down V shape. The foundations, hands and feet. So bring awareness first of all to those foundations, spread out the fingers, press firmly through the palms of your hands, pull your shoulders away from your ears, relax your neck. And then visualizing your spinal column, try to stretch the spine all the way up to make the peak of the V. And then you can have your knees slightly bent as you encourage your back to stretch. And then if your hamstrings are tight, keep the knees slightly bent. Otherwise, try to straighten the legs, bringing your heels down in the direction of the floor. Your focal point here should either be eyes looking into the belly button, or you can look through the little gap between your calves instead. Let's just hold it here. One more full breath in through the nose. Send it wide into the back of the rib cage, and as you exhale, just drawing upward and inward through pelvic floor, through the navel. On your next inhale, lift your gaze, rise up tippy toes, and then step forward to the top of your mat. Taking a full fold position now as you exhale, forehead comes down, crown of the head, down towards the tops of your feet. Stay here for a ragdoll fold. So taking the hands off your mat, holding your elbows, your forearms, or even your wrists, And let the crown of your head drop down towards the top of your feet. And you can just gently sway the upper body right side and left side. And that just helps to release tensions from your lower back. Let's just do 2 more. 1 more. And then release fingertips down to the floor. Exhale, full fold position. As you inhale, take your hands onto your shins and we come into a flat back or a half fold position. Pull the shoulders down and back away from your ears. Lengthen out from the crown of your head all the way down to the tailbone, pressing the tailbone towards the back of the mat, creating that really long spine, stretched out spine. And then refolding on your exhale, fingertips down, palms down perhaps, forehead cozies in towards the knees. And then let's soften the knees to rise. Inhale, we're going to stretch it up all the way up, reaching up, stretching up, bring the palms together here over your head. And then as you exhale, let the thumbs come down here to touch your sternum, touch your chest wall. Mountain pose. Mountain pose, the toes and heels together, the inner thighs are pressing together to touch. As you inhale, stretch your arms all the way up here over your head. And then as you exhale, step your feet out nice and wide. Step your feet out wide, turn your heels inward. There we go. And then come down into our goddess pose to stretch out our inner thighs. So inner thighs, adductor muscles will be stretched out here. You're also going to build up strength in your legs. With this particular pose, the higher you are, the easier it is. So beginner level, stay a little taller. As you advance the pose, perhaps your hips come down below the line of the knees. Push your knees out. Knees are always going to follow the direction from the toes. And then let's just close our eyes and take a couple of nice deep steady breaths. Inhaling and exhaling. One more nice inhale. And as you exhale, gently push to rise all the way to the top. Step to the top of your mat. Step to the top of the mat, drop your fingertips down towards the floor. And as you inhale, lift the chest, reaching upward through your arms, chair pose. Chair pose, you want to think of your big toes pressing together, your inner thighs squeezing together, your upper body reaching up, and your tailbone tucking underneath. You can squat down a little deeper, pressing the hips backwards, downwards into that chair. Take 2 more breaths here in your chair pose. Building up leg strength, shoulder strength, core strength. And as you exhale, taking the full fold all the way down. Relax the neck, the face, the shoulders. Relax your jaw. Hands to the mat, step back and make a plank position. From your plank position, you're going to slowly lower the whole body down towards the floor through Chaturanga. Now you can do this from your knees. As a beginner, you'll be here. Slowly taking the chin and chest down all the way down to the floor here. As you inhale, keep the tops of the feet down, the tops of the thighs down and make cobra, lifting the chin, lifting the chest. Don't crunch the neck, try to press the chest forward. And then exhale gently down. Let's do 2 more cobras. As you inhale, you're trying to stretch out the front side of the body while mobilizing and strengthening your back. Exhale gently down. 1 more time. As you inhale, stretch out the chest, the shoulders, the front of the body, lifting up. And then exhale all the way back down. Keep the fingertips in the same position, in line with the shoulders, and we're going to come to a plank position now. Inhale here, exhale, push to make a plank pose. You can do this to your knees, it looks like this. And then if you can, everybody up onto the toes. So we're holding a plank position, and the next movement we're going to do is take our right hand to the center of the mat and lift our left hand into a side plank balance. So side plank can be done from the knee, making it easier here, or from your feet, resting here, making it harder. The intention is the same, to stretch one arm up to the sky, balancing on the other. You can also take the top leg up if you want to make things a little bit harder. Holding your waist up, stretching your fingertips up, keep breathing. Inhale And then as you exhale, twisting back round into your front plank position, wrists and shoulders in a line. Take the left hand to the centre of the mat, and as you inhale, spine twist round, side plank round onto the other side, arm balance. And again, you can choose knee down a little bit kinder, on the feet a little bit harder, elevating the leg a little bit harder again. So feel what feels good for you today. Listen to how your body is feeding back. If you've got any wrist injuries going on, you might want to be on your forearm here. You might want a modified version if you've got any other shoulder issues. Gently bring the leg back down and rotate round into your front plank. Slowly chaturanga all the way down to the mat. Stay down. Release the tops of your feet. Fingertips in line with the shoulders. As you inhale, cobra up. Inhale, rise. Exhale gently down. 2 more. Inhale, cobra to rise. And exhale gently down. So again, this time as you come up into cobra, perhaps you can come a little bit higher. Perhaps not. The shoulders away from the ears, press the chest forward, getting the arch into the spine, and then gently all the way back down. Push to plank pose from your knees or from your toes. Inhale now, full plank or half plank, press up, push. Take the hips up in line with the shoulders, full plank, and then exhale, pushing the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. Push and pedal out through the down dog. So we do a little bit of walking the dog here, which is a great little ankle mobilizer. So if you've got tight calves, this is a good one for you to do. Push and pedal, right side and left side. And then press both heels down, keeping the hips lifted in the down dog. Pressing into the hands, spreading out those fingers, remember. Letting the neck go, the head just hangs. And then on your next inhale, lift the gaze, look towards the top of your mat, rise up, tippy toe balance. Come forward softly, right foot, left foot lands, full fold, exhale all the way down, forehead to the shins. Relax your neck, relax your face, relax your jaw. On your inhale, let's take a half fold, tabletop spine. Pull the shoulder blades back and down away from your ears. Try to think of the spine stretching out like a tabletop through the back of the neck, through the crown of the head, all the way down to the tailbone. As you exhale, take the hands back down, fingertips, palms, forehead to the knees or shins, exhale. And then inhale as you rise, soft knees. Inhale, reach for the sky, bring the palms up together over your head, looking at your thumbs. And then as you exhale, step out wide. Heels are turned outwards, palms to the heart center, and slowly come down into your horse stance or goddess pose. So the feet are flat, the toes are pointed outwards, and the knees are following direction from the toes. And we're going to hold it here for 5 breaths. So remember, if you want to make it easier, then you stand a little taller. If you want to make it harder, bring your hips a little lower to really load the legs. Try not to tip your body forward. If I show you from the side on view, I'm trying to stay with my torso nice and upright, avoiding leaning forward like this. Holding your position. Let's get one more inhale. One more exhale. As you inhale, we'll rise, taking the arms up, come to step to the top of the mat. As you exhale, take the full fold all the way down. As you inhale, chair pose, lift the head, lift the heart, reach the fingertips up overhead, pressing the big toes together, sitting back onto that little stool, warming up the legs, warming up the spine, holding your position, feeling strength, benefits from the pose. The thighs will start to feel active, working, challenge perhaps. Reach up, lengthen up, tuck the tailbone, sit a little deeper. And then as you exhale, take that full fold position all the way down. Full fold, crown of the head drops down towards the tops of your feet. Half fold, inhale, lift the spine. Exhale, step or jump back into your plank pose. Take the right hand to the center. Inhale, side plank balance, arm balance on the right side. And again, you can choose a modification, making it easier, bringing your knee down, or making it harder by lifting that top leg up. Inhale. And gently exhale, ready to switch. Left hand to the center of the mat, right hand twist round, stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders, lifting the waist, reaching the fingertips to the sky. Bring your awareness to the side of the body, try to lift the hips, lift the waist. Inhale. And then as you exhale, rotate round into your front plank, stack the wrists and the shoulders in one line. And then chaturanga, body all the way down to the floor. As you bring the body down to the floor, fingertips are in line with the top of the shoulders. Inhale, cobra pose. Lift the heart, lift the torso, start to look towards the front of the mat and beyond. And then exhale, gently bring your body down. This time, as you inhale, lift the torso. And then slowly turn to look over your right shoulder. Come back to center, turn to look over your left shoulder, center, and gently come back down. Fingertips in line with the top of the shoulders, inhale, and then exhale, press into plank pose. Push the hips, align with the shoulders, plank pose, and then lift your hips to the sky into your downward facing dog. From your downward facing dog pose, we're going to step into some lizard lunges. So what I'd like you to do is keep spreading the fingers, pressing into the palms. Keep the weight on the balls of your feet, press your heels gently down. As you inhale, can you rise right up onto tippy toes and let your right leg float up to a three-legged dog. Bend your right knee and then stride the right foot forward on the outside of your hand. Lift your chest and look ahead. So the same sort of chest and heart position as we have for cobra. Lift the head, lift the heart, look straight ahead, inhale. And then as you exhale, back into the three-legged dog, stretching out and up. Bend your knee, stride forward. Plant the right foot, lift the head, lift the heart, keep the hips low. And then pushing the heel to the sky. As you exhale, back into three-legged dog. As you come forward, stride forward, plant the right foot. Now remember, you can always drop the back knee here if you need to. Lift the chest, lift the head, lift the heart. And then exhale, press the heel to the sky. Okay, let's do one more time. Right foot strides forward, lizard lunge, lift the chest, lift the head, lift the heart. And then as you exhale, pushing the heel back to the sky, making three-legged dog. This time, stride the right foot forward and drop the back knee, holding your lizard pose. So lizard pose, the right foot is up the front of the mat. Work the right foot out a little bit wider towards the long edge. You can take your right hand and gently push. And as you push, you will get more stretching through the adductor muscles, through the inner thigh. Again, you can just see what feels right for you. You can stay here. Just breathe a little slower. Becoming aware of the breath. One more inhale. One more exhale. And then gently bring the wrists underneath the shoulders. Take the knees underneath the hips. Push the hips back into your child's pose. Stretch the fingertips towards the top of the mat. Spread the fingers. Engage the muscles of your hands. And as you inhale, you're going to transition forward into a box pose. Lift your knees. And as you exhale, push the hips up and back into the down dog. And we do the same lizard sequence on the opposite leg. So let's begin with three-legged dog. Exhale, push your heels down. Inhale, rise to tippy toes. Let your left leg float, make a three-legged dog. And then bending the left knee, striding it forward, and on the outside of the left hand, lift your heart. Gaze is looking straight ahead, opening your chest, opening your shoulders. And then as you exhale, press the heel all the way back up to the sky. Get a 3-point balance here, three-legged dog. And again, bend the knee, stride it forward. Foot goes on the outside of the hand, lift the torso, lift the chest. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, push the heel to the sky, stretching out the whole of the front side of the hip, pushing into the palms of your hands. Bend your knee, stride forward, lizard lunge, lift the chest, eyes look straight ahead to your horizon. Inhale here. And then as you exhale, push the heel to the sky, three-legged dog. Staying on 3 points. Bend your knees, stride forward, lift the head, lift the heart. Get the stretch, building up strength in the shoulders, the legs, hip mobility, core strength. One more time, lizard lunge, push the heel to the sky. Bend your knees, stride it forward into the lizard lunge, stay here. Lift the chest and then drop the back knee down. Holding your lizard position, think of your front leg moving a little further away from the center of your body. You can roll out onto the pinky toe edge of that foot and you can just actively push with your left hand so that you release tightness in the inner thighs. Allowing that inner thigh to feel stretched out. Well done. Again, everybody's bodies are different. If this feels too much, you want to put the sole of the foot back down, no problem. But try to keep your hips down lower than the line of your knee. Don't want your hips back here, hips down here. It's where you should be. And then slowly taking the wrists back underneath the shoulders, pushing back into child's pose. Forehead comes down to the mat. Well done. And then if you bring your body forward and down onto your belly, and then if you can take your arms out in front, and then gently bend your right knee, reach round with your right hand and just catch hold of the foot just below the line of the toes. Align your knee with your hip. Don't have your knee too wide. And then try to press the top of the thigh, the pelvic bone, down into the floor. And at the same time, pull your heel towards your buttock. All I want you to feel right now is a stretching sensation through the front of your thigh. And we're going to stay here for 5 breaths. This is a quadricep stretch, front of the thigh, hip flexor. Try to lift your knee away from the mat, which will encourage your pelvis to tilt. It will encourage more of a stretch. Try to squeeze your buttocks using the opposing muscles to deepen the hip flexor stretch here. Lift the knee up, squeeze the buttocks. One more inhale, and then slowly release. As you release, let the right leg go to the floor, stretch the right arm overhead. And then slowly lifting up the left leg, reaching around, catching hold of the left foot. Bring your knee in alignment with your hip. Press your heel nicely up towards the buttock. And what we try to think of is the pelvic bone right here and the top of the thigh pushing down into the floor. And at the same time, you're pulling with your arm strength. And you're going to feel the stretch through the front of the thigh. And again, lifting your knee off the floor will help to tilt the pelvis. It will help to make the stretch feel even better. So even stronger stretching when you lift the knee up a little bit higher. Hold in that position. Don't hold your breath. And sometimes if you find it tricky to get hold of your foot, you can use, a belt, a strap, a band, whatever you have to hand. Towel even around your foot, and you can pull in. If you can't get round to get your foot easily, that's an option. Just staying here for one more breath in. One more exhale. And then slowly release. Well done. As you release, we're going to do bowl pose now. So It's a variation on what we've just done. We're going to bend both knees if we can. If you couldn't manage to get both feet here, then what you're going to do is just repeat exactly the same movement for a second time. So just do the quad stretch part, holding one foot if you need to. If you can, get both feet. Bring your knees in line with your hips. And then you want to press the pelvic bones into the floor. You want to hold firmly around the tops of the feet. And you're going to start to breathe in. As you breathe in, I want you to start to kick your feet away from your buttocks. And this kicking action will start to stretch your chest up off the mat like we do for Cobra. You then come into a bow pose where the toes are either pointing or you can flex the foot, but try to do one or the other. So if you want to try both, flex the foot, see how that feels. Lifting up, feel the energy, stretching out the whole of the front of the body. The chest is lifted, you're balancing here on the pelvis. One more inhale in your bow pose. Remember, you can do a half bow instead if you can't get round. And then slowly release. Release your torso, release your feet, and then slowly transition into child's pose because your back muscles will be tight. You'll need a little bit of a stretch off here. So using child's pose to counter the deep backward bend of bow. You can take the top of your head, the forehead down onto the floor, releasing your neck. And then as you inhale, we're going to transition forward into a tabletop position, wrists underneath the line of the shoulders and the knees underneath the line of the hips. If we can take our right hand and stretch the right arm out, and then thread that through and underneath. So we're going to do a thread the needle, right hand passing underneath the body, the top of the arm, the shoulder, the side of the face coming down. And you can stay here. So there's different variations. You can go as deep as you want to this morning. I'd like you to get your head resting down. Use a block or a blanket if you can't get your head all the way down. And then take your left hand, stretch it to the sky, opening your chest. And then wrapping the arm across your back towards the back leg. You'll get a stretch through the chest and shoulders. And if you focus your eyes to one spot for focus and for balance, you can decide to stay as you are or to extend your front leg. Extend the front leg, the left leg, tippy toes on the mat, or you can let your leg float up. We're here for 3 more breaths. Doesn't matter if you lose your balance and you fall out, it happens to everybody at some point. But if you bring your awareness to one single spot, keep your eyes on that one single spot for one more breath in, one more exhale, and then gently and slowly unthread. Unthread yourself back into tabletop position, wrists underneath the line of the shoulders and knees underneath the line of your hips. As you inhale, stretching the left arm out this time. And then you take that thread needle, passing the left arm underneath your body till the top of the arm, the shoulder, and then the cheek rests down. So, you can move nice and slowly into position. You can readjust yourself when you need to. You don't need to rush to get from one stage to the next. If you want to, you can inhale, lift your right hand to the sky, and then wrap that right hand across your back. And you'll get a stretching sensation through the chest and through the shoulder. Try to bring your eyes to one point for focus to help with your balance. And bring your awareness to your belly and just breathe in, pulling belly button inward towards the spine as you exhale. Make that connection to your core. And if you want to, stay as you are. Or if you want to add on, you stretch out the right leg. And you can stay here, or you can let the leg float up and you can hold yourself in a balance. Fix your eyes to one spot, it will help. Tighten the tummy muscles, pulling upward on the pelvic floor, on the abdominals. One more inhale. One more exhale, and slowly return the toes. And slowly unthread your needle back into your tabletop position. From your tabletop position, cow-cat flow. As we inhale, lift the head and heart. As you exhale, cat stretch. As you inhale, lift the head and heart. As you exhale, flex into your cat stretch. Back to 4-point kneeling. Tuck the toes, take a nice inhale, lift the knees, and then exhale, lift your hips into your down dog. Push and press through the palms of the hands. Pull the shoulders down away from your ears. Press down through the heels as you exhale, and then as you inhale, rise to the tippy toes, lifting your right leg up, three-legged dog, and then step the right leg through between your hands. Stay here, runner's lunge, fingertips on the start line. Check that your toes are pointing straight ahead, ankle and knee are nicely in a line. And then you can always opt to drop the back knee for low lunge. But if you can, reach and rise, lift the torso, high lunge. So high lunge is where the back knee is off the mat. Low lunge is where you drop the back knee down. Both are going to act as a good hip opener. If you choose high lunge, you're also going to build the strength on the front leg. Bending the front knee, sinking a little deeper makes things a little bit harder. Inhale here. And then as we exhale, we're going to take the fingertips to the floor. And you're going to shift your hips up and back for a hamstring stretch. So you can do half splits if your knee is down on the floor. Or what we've got here is a hamstring stretch with the front leg, toes lifting off the mat now. Bring your forehead down to touch your knee. Breathe out here, hamstring stretch. Breathe in here, high lunge. Exhale, shift the hips, lift the toes, hold hamstring stretch. Inhale here, lift the upper body. Build the strength in the legs if you can. And then exhale, push the hips back, lift the toes. And remember, you can do exactly the same stretching with your back knee on the floor, making it a little bit kinder. If we can, inhale, high lunge. As you exhale, fingertips to the floor, push the hips up and back, lift the toes, forehead to the knees. Okay, this time take both hands to the inside, bend your front knee. And with both hands resting on the mat on the inside of your front foot, spin your back foot round, land the foot. And then as you inhale, you're going to lift your left arm up into side angle pose. So side angle pose, hand can be resting down here. If that feels too much for your hips, you can use a block, or you can even rest your elbow against your thigh. But I want you to stretch out while pressing the back foot energetically down into the floor to really open and stretch your hips. Inhale, reach a little bit longer. And if it's good for you, you can look into the open palm on that left hand. One more inhale. One more exhale, and then slowly frame the front foot. Step back for a vinyasa from plank pose, knees or toes. Chaturanga, chin and chest move down towards the mat, exhaling. Inhaling as you lift through the gate of the shoulders into your cobra or up dog. So it's an upward facing dog if your knees are off the mat, but you have to have strong legs. Here, tense the thighs, lift the chest, look straight ahead. If you want knees down, it's a little bit less for the back. And then roll over the toes, shift your hips up and back to come into your downward facing dog again. Let the neck relax. Feel your foundation sinking down into the mat. Gently pressing down on the exhale. And as you inhale, rise to three-legged dog. Left leg floats to the sky. Bend that left knee, stride the left foot forward, land it between your hands. Stay here, fingertips down on the start line. Remember the option to drop the back knee. As you inhale, lifting the arms, lifting the torso to come to lunge position, lower high. Check that you've got your foot in the right position, your ankle is nicely stacked, got good alignment in our bodies. Holding your lunge position here. You can be low lunge or high lunge. And then as you exhale, stretching into the hamstrings, dropping the fingertips to the floor, stretching out the front leg, flexing the foot, pointing the toes to the sky, nose to the knee. Inhale, lift the torso, reaching up, open the heart. And then exhale, flowing down to the floor, hamstring stretch, flex the foot, nose to the knee. As you inhale, rise. And as you exhale, fold to hamstring stretch, lift the toes, nose to knee. One more time, as you inhale, lift the torso. And as you exhale, fold, lift the toes, forehead to the knee. And then as you inhale, bend the knee. Take both hands so that they're on the inside of that front foot. Holding here like a lizard pose. You're going to spin your back foot and land it flat on the floor. And then take your next in-breath, the right hand comes up and we open into a side angle pose. Left hand on the floor, right arm up by your ear. If this feels like too much for your hips, using a block here underneath your left hand is really useful. Or you can also opt to come a little higher onto the thigh, as I'm showing you here. Try to engage the muscles of your right leg, pushing down through the right side pinky toe. Hold in position, not holding the breath, of course. If you can, finish the move by looking into the open palm of the right hand. Elongating the fingertips, one more inhale. As you exhale, taking vinyasa, stepping back into plank. Chaturanga, chin and chest move to the mat. Inhale, lift the head and heart, look up, cobra or upward facing dog, knees up or down. Shift and lift the hips, rolling back over the toes as you come into your down dog. Holding your down dog pose, press down through the heels. Inhale as you rise to the tips of the toes, looking ahead, step forward with your right foot. Right foot steps through towards the top of the mat, and then you're going to turn your body for a Cossack lunge. So right foot steps to the top of the mat, left leg is stretched out long. If you struggle with a Cossack lunge, you can take your knee down to the floor. Otherwise, the foot is on the floor. And what you're trying to do is stretch out the inner thigh. So play around with it, see what feels good. Do you want to stay with the foot flat down? Do you want to be on the ball of the foot? You can play around, see what works best. Having the fingertips on the floor will help you balance. And taking the hands into prayer pose will make things a little bit harder. Holding your position, breathing, challenging, but staying stable at the same time. Get your eyes fixate on one spot for balance. One more inhale here. And then as you exhale, hands to the mat, walk across so that we just take the pose to the opposite side. Stretching out the inner thigh, fingertips on the floor. You can opt to play around with the footprint. Do you want your foot down? Stretching out here, perhaps. Do you want to be on the ball of the foot? You can have fingertips down, or you can bring your hands to your heart center. I want you to be focused more on the inner thigh stretch than the balance. So if you're finding it too hard with the hands up, put the hands back down so that you can flex that foot. Push into that stretch a little bit deeper. Next deep breaths. Inhale. Exhale, lift the torso, make your body as upright as you can. Here we are. And then slowly taking the hands down to the floor, walking back to the right side, turning the toes towards the top of the mat, stepping back into a plank position. From your plank position, taking your chaturanga all the way down to the floor. Releasing the tops of the feet. Taking the hands now to the sides of the body, turn the palms so they're facing upward, lotus pose. Think of lifting, stretching and lengthening the whole of the front side of your body. As you inhale with energy, we start to lift the chest. We can press into the backs of the hands. We can lift the toes, the knees, the thighs. Lift up, lift up, lift up. Hold your body in the lotus pose, toes up, thighs up, chest up. Just bring awareness to your breath, no bouncing, no forcing, just floating here. If your legs are really heavy like mine, got to work a little bit harder to get the legs up, get the chest up, open the front side of your body. One more breath in. And then as you exhale, slowly release your body back down. Take the hands underneath the line of the shoulders and slowly push yourself back into your child's pose. Taking the hips all the way back here. And then press into the palms of your hands. Bring the shoulders over into tabletop. Lift the knees. Exhale, pushing your hips up and back into your down dog pose. Take your feet out nice and wide now. Nice wide feet. Lift your gaze, look to the top of your mat. You're going to bend your knees. And like a little bunny, you're going to hop forward into your Hindi squat. Hindi squat, you can take hands, press the palms of the hands together and try to press your knees out nice and wide. So a Hindi squat is a hip opener. It's going to stretch out the inner thighs. It's going to stretch out your back. For some people, this is not an accessible pose. If you can't access Hindi squat right now, you can come back to the horse stance that we practiced earlier on. Gives you a chance to stretch out the inner thighs, but a little bit safer for your knees if you're finding it hard. And again, where we've got the pose here, you can make a little bit of movement, a little bit of swaying right side and left side will help to mobilize ankles and hips. You can notice where you feel tight and tense. Just one more breath here. And then take your hands round to the back of the body, drop your sit bones, bring your feet together and stretch out into boat pose. There we are. So boat pose, press the big toes together, press the inner thighs together. You can hang on here behind the thighs, or you can reach your fingertips towards your toes. Try to keep the toes up in line with the crown of your head. Try to use your abdominals to help you balance here. Your knees can be bent or straight. Keep your feet tidy. And together, let's have 2 more breaths, inhaling. And exhaling, 1 more breath, inhale here. As you exhale, left leg to the floor, right leg to hamstring stretch. There we are, so we're hamstring stretch. If you can make the peace sign now, first and second finger, hook around that big toe, holding the leg up here. Feel the stretching sensation through the back of your thigh. Inhale, 1 breath. And then just gently release yourself down, holding on to that big toe. We've still got the big toe bind. We're going to feel the stretch in the hamstring, absolutely. Pulling in, stretching in, and breathing. If you've got really good mobility in your hamstrings, you really have to work to find the stretch. Keep flexing the foot, pulling closer. And if your hamstrings are super tight, perhaps you need to have your knee a little bit bent. Again, that's allowed. Let's try to notice and focus for 1 more breath on that leg, stretching up to the sky. And slowly release and switch to the left side. Bend your left knee, make the peace sign, hook around the toes, then start to stretch the leg up to the sky. Feeling the stretch through the whole of the back of the leg. And again, pulling the leg closer to your body to intensify the feeling of the stretch. Let's just take nice deep breaths in. Pull a little bit more on the exhale. Keep pulling, keep stretching. Try to engage the muscles of your quadriceps. So using the opposite muscles, tense the thighs. Where we contract here, we'll get more stretch here. 1 more breath. And slowly release. As you release, you're going to bring both knees into your belly. You're going to lift your head and shoulders into a little ball, and you're going to rock and roll yourself back up into your boat pose. Coming back into the boat pose, holding the boat pose, reaching towards the toes. Remember, you can do modified boat here with bent knees, or you can have the legs straighter, reaching up, making it more challenging. If that's too hard, perhaps you're holding on to keep the spine nice and organized. One more inhale. One more exhale. Drop the right leg to the floor. Get the big toe bind around the left leg, pulling the leg into seated hamstring stretch. And then slowly taking that hamstring stretch down with you to the floor. Then bend your right knee, lift your right leg up. And get the big toe binds around the right foot. Bend your knees as we come to happy baby pose. Happy baby pose, not the most dignified of poses, is it? But good, it's effective, it works. Bring the knees into the armpits to the side of the body. And now the happy babies are going to just gently rock, a little bit of mobility in the pose, rocking right side and left side, stretching out the back, getting that mobility. Well done. And then slowly just release your happy babies. Bring the heels down to the floor and stretch your heels down towards the bottom corners of your mat. Well done. Take the palms and turn your palms so they're facing upwards. Organize the shoulders so they feel level and even. And this is your Shavasana. Your Shavasana comes at the end of the sequence usually. It signifies, the death of the practice, the end. Close your eyes now and just bring your focus back to your breath. Breathing in through the nostrils and down using your diaphragm muscle to move your belly, your intercostal muscles, your clavicles to move your rib cage. And then exhaling gently through your mouth like a deep sigh. Breathing in slowly, deeply through your nose. Focusing on the muscles that you use for breathing. Feel the expansion in your body, and then exhale like a deep sigh. Let's take a couple more breaths here, focusing on the muscles that you use for breathing. Diaphragm, intercostal. Exhale, release, deep sigh. One more time, inhaling slowly and deeply. Exhaling, deep sigh. And then bring your awareness now to your heels and to your feet. Relax your feet. Relax your calves. Relaxing the thighs and the buttocks, the groins. Relaxing your shoulders, your shoulder blades. Relax your hands, your fingertips, your wrists. Relax the back of your arms, the back of your neck. Relax your head, your scalp, your forehead. Relax all the little muscles of your face. Let your jaw get slack. Relaxing your chest, your abdomen, your groins. Relax your whole body now. Let the weight of your body sink down into the floor. Feeling of letting go of any tensions. Any tensions of the body have just melted down now into the floor. Let go of any tension in your mind and let it melt down and into the floor. You can lie here for as long as you like. Your eyes closed. And when you feel you're ready to, just gently roll to the right side and slowly, using your hands, bring yourself up to a seated pose. We don't need to be hero pose or cross-legged. Any comfortable pose will be fine. Keep your eyes closed. Rest the hands on the knees or the thighs. And as you inhale, reach and rise. Take the upward salute as you elevate the arms overhead, and then exhale, gently pulling the thumbs down to meet your chest, your sternum. Gently bow your head. Namaste. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed that one.